Good morning. Well, I come from the business school, so I like to stand in front. This is like getting close to the customers, so this is as close as I can get. But I think before we start, I have 2 questions on Mentimeter that I want you all to respond, so that this will set the basis for the rest of the talk. The organizer will give us some instructions on how
So
to
for
use.
this short survey, you just need to go to the website www.menti.com and just enter the code 92438, and you can just vote accordingly, and the results will be shown over the screen. So you may just take out your phone and key in menti.com and use the code 92438.
Wow. Oh, good. Okay. Okay. Okay, maybe I give you about 15 more seconds. I think it's very fun. Please don't follow the rest of them and answer accordingly. Do it individually, make your own thinking. I think okay. Okay, maybe I can pause now, and then before we go on to the next, let's look at what we have achieved. If you want to continue, it's fine. You can save just in this audience, perhaps about 600 to 800, about 80% have not invested in cryptocurrency. Only about 10%, 11% have invested. About 5% have not heard of it before. I don't know which planet you were from in the last 1 year, but it's okay. Don't worry. After today, 100% will have heard of it. Okay, maybe let's go on to the next question. I think it's even more fun. The next question is a fun question. Do you think you can make money by investing in cryptocurrency? Okay, wow. I will stop if I reach about 150, which is quite a good sample size. Oh, wow, it's about half-half. About 53% think you can make money, 43% no. 5% say it doesn't matter whether I make money or not. I want to be your broker. Can you see me outside the auditorium after this talk? You'll be very good customers. Okay, good, yeah. So now you can see just in this sample profile, roughly, most of you have heard of it, but only about, say, slightly over half think you can make money. The other half say you cannot. About 5% say it doesn't matter. So for today, my thought is actually on investing in cryptocurrency, and also I will, particularly highlight some of the features, and more importantly, some of the regulations as well as risks that underlie this type of investment. And today, I will come very purely from a user perspective. I'm not a financial agent. I'm not an investor. I'm somebody from the business school. Today, I will share with you some very personal perspective. In fact, for all the topics and themes that I covered today, I have actually, you look at this logo here, I have actually used a little bit of my own money to test out all the parts of the cryptocurrency world. Everything that I talk about, I have tested it just to prove that, I just don't give lecture. I actually practice. I literally walk the talk. That's why I'm walking around today. Yeah. Okay. The agenda is quite simple, just 5 parts. First of all, I'll talk about some of the origin and excitement, and then I'm zooming to give you a very short preview of things like blockchains and cryptocurrency very fast. It will be very non-technical. If you want something more technical, you can sign up for courses at the tertiary institutions. Then I will cover the heart of it, the investment, some of the key issues. in the ecosystem of cryptocurrency. And then the last two parts are actually the main ticket item today. Some of the underlying risks that you have to bear in mind, and some of the existing legislations, laws, rules in Singapore and in perhaps other parts of the world as well. And then, of course, I have to leave with the right note, which is, even if you want or don't want to invest, there are many issues and factors that you have to think about. Just now, even just about half of you think that you can make money, the other half say you cannot. So, it's quite a divided world now. So these are my topic. Now, let me just highlight the craze last year. In fact, I actually went into cryptocurrency world last year by using a little bit of my money just to test out what the excitement during the bull run. The bull run last year, some of you may remember, for those of you who are in this crypto world, December 17, the Bitcoin price. Bitcoin is a type of cryptocurrency. I'll come more to that. It went up to almost 20,000 US dollar. And I think if you look at the entire set of all the cryptocurrencies in early January, the market capitalization is actually as high as 800 billion US dollar. If you don't know how large that is almost 3 times Singapore GDP. That's the whole crypto world. And then it went up a lot last year, and then recently it went down. The price fluctuates a lot. If you go by day to day, week by week, month to month, even hour to hour, minutes by minutes. A couple of months ago, when I gave another talk for SIAS, I was preparing, so I woke up very early in the morning. The price at that time was 8,600 US dollar per Bitcoin. I woke up very happy, went up a lot. I went to brush my teeth. I came out of the toilet. It dropped to $8,200 US. So, the moral of the story is don't brush your teeth. All these are real stories. So, but of course, even just yesterday and today, last night, it went up as high as 7,600 US dollar before I sleep. That was about midnight. Okay, I'll come to that. Okay? Okay. What is a cryptocurrency? Cryptocurrency is something like a virtual currency, a digital token. A virtual currency is a type of digital currency. It's just a computer representation of a certain value that you hold in the cyber world. Okay? So, in other words, it's not something that you can see, for example, it's not something that I just take something out of pocket. It's not something like that, a $50 note. When you hit Bitcoin, there's no sound. It's just a string. To be more precise to you, a Bitcoin is just a string of 64 alphanumeric characters. Okay, 64 alphanumeric characters can be from A to Z, 0 to 9. That is represented in cyberspace. That's all you have. You don't see it, you can't touch it, you can't feel it. You can't feel the color of money. Okay? Does that satisfy you? Yes. Okay, good. Thanks. By the way, I will entertain questions anytime. I know there's a panel later, but if you have a burning question like this gentleman here, I fully welcome, because the customer is always right. Okay, next. Okay. Oh, the question is, what is a cryptocurrency? Because I have many slides, but I just want to give you the historical origin. So bear with me on some of the key things. On cryptocurrency, there are many types. I'll come to that. But I just want to highlight that in the last few years, there were also a lot of disasters that come about in cryptocurrency. For example, in some of the exchange, in many parts of the world, don't worry about the words first. By the way, I see a lot of you are taking pictures. I think the whole session will be available on the web. The whole webcast will be publicly available, including my lecture and all the slides shown. So if you want to take pictures, it's still fine. Yeah? Okay, these are some of the disasters of cryptocurrency exchange. I'll come to the word exchange later on. But just to show you that upfront, even with all the excitement, many of the entities like exchanges, for example, Mt. Gox is a Japanese cryptocurrency exchange. An exchange, in one sentence, is a place where you can buy and sell cryptocurrency. So one of the earliest disasters was in Mt. Gox in Japan. Mt. Gox is a cryptocurrency exchange. It's not a mountain in Japan, nothing to do with Fuji Mountain. It's actually located in Tokyo. Some of you may have been there, Shibuya. I know their HQ is there. And then down the line, even up to just last month, 2 exchanges in Korea lost millions of dollars, 30 over millions in various cryptocurrencies. So you can see it's actually a very, very insecure, vulnerable world. Insecure, vulnerable world. Anything in cyber world is insecure and vulnerable. Yesterday, all of you just read the news about 1.5 million cyber records of health patients in the Sing Health organization in Singapore, being hijacked, being hacked. So cryptocurrency is very easily hacked. Okay, I'll come to that. Okay, so this Bitcoin, this cryptocurrency, actually has been around for 10 years. In fact, this year is the 10th anniversary of the birth of the first cryptocurrency called Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin was a cryptocurrency started by some entity called Satoshi Nakamoto. Okay, actually nobody knows who this person is. We are not even sure whether he's a man, he's a woman, he's a group of person. We are not even sure whether he's an animal. But he just created something in October. 10 years ago, he wrote a paper on this concept of a blockchain. I'll come to the word blockchain later on because there are just too many words today. I have to motivate the story before I go into all the precise definitions. So he actually wrote this paper that dreamed of a new way of monetizing the world, facilitating transaction. I think this came at the height of the global financial crisis about 10 years ago, in 2007, 8, 9. During that period when I think some of you remember it's a subprime crisis. So there was this urge, there was this need to have a certain trustworthy, in inverted commas, a trustless, actually, authority that is not centralized and that can facilitate instantaneously certain financial flow. So he conceptualized this idea, wrote it in a paper. The paper is still available on the web. If you type Bitcoin paper now on Google search, you can get that paper. But nobody knew what was it about. In fact, just after writing the paper and then setting up the system, Satoshi mined about 1 million Bitcoins and just totally vanished. Nobody knows where this person is or even the person or group of person. Of course, a lot of people say I'm the Satoshi. A lot of fake start popping out in Australia, in Japan, So this was the origin. Then this cryptocurrency, then, it came out. The first transaction that was used is very, very interesting. 8 years ago, in May, in fact, it's a very famous day, May 22nd, finally, a first real-world transaction was made using this cryptocurrency called Bitcoin. It was somebody who just sent out a message. I want to pay 10,000 Bitcoins for somebody to just deliver me 2 pizzas. Wow. 8 years ago, if I knew about that, I wouldn't be a professor. I want to deliver pizza. Now, and of course, during that time, he Then somebody volunteered, a British man actually in Florida, a British man living in Florida. He actually went to Papa John's to buy 2 pizzas costing $25. And then he collected 10,000 Bitcoins at that time, which is worth $41. He made a profit of $16. He was so happy. I don't know what he did with that 10,000 Bitcoins, but if you want to look at what is the value of 10,000 Bitcoins now, as of this moment, it is 72 million US dollars for 2 pizzas. This is the most expensive pizza ever that exists. Okay? Okay, so now let me motivate the topic. Now that you know the height of the whole interest, all the losses that have been made by exchanges all over the world, transaction being carried, what exactly is this whole phenomenon all about? In layman terms, what is it all about? The most important thing you have to understand is what is the concept of the underlying thing called blockchain. Blockchain is actually quite easy. It's just a chain of blocks. But basically, what is it? It's actually just a record of transactions in the cyber world. It's just a list, a growing list of things that happen, and people will put it on to, a node in the cyber world, and this is something that cannot be changed. So in other words, a blockchain is something that technically cannot be changed. It's totally unhackable in the sense that you cannot change it. And then it is something that is totally verifiable in the sense that since a blockchain is something that is known to a specific community, if I'm talking about blockchain, say a public blockchain, there are 2 types of blockchain. A public blockchain is something that is broadcasted to the entire world, and anybody that has access to the computer system can look at it. Okay, so this is something that underlies the concept of a cryptocurrency. And the underlying technology is actually very powerful. A blockchain, because of the fact that it exists and is perpetuated and is created and verified in a certain technical manner that is accepted within that technical community, it is something that has a lot of usage these days. Beyond just cryptocurrency, blockchain can be used in many sectors. For example, sectors that use a lot of record. I don't know whether it's a good example. Medical records, for example. Technically you can actually, there are some blockchains actually, they put all the medical record on the blockchain, but of course, it's not that everybody will see everybody's record. There is certain security features such that only people who have the authorization can view the record. So it's, a blockchain basically has 3 elements. Actually, in technical terms, what it means is that between the 2 blocks, that is linked by what they call the hash. A hash is just now what I talked about, a string of characters, okay? And then there's a timestamp, and then there's also a transaction. So if you look at this, there's a lot of merit. In fact, it might actually be a new asset class. But why is it there's a lot of merit? Maybe in picture I can show it to you in better sense. Let's say, this is a very simple representation of a blockchain. Again, I like to perform magic. Suppose I have this $50. Yeah. Who do you know? Okay, let's say I take the first speaker, Abel. Yeah. Okay. Since he's a known figure now, let's say I want to give him $50. Gladly, right? Let's say, I meet him, we went to the toilet, so I say, Abel, for your good thought just now, I give you $50. Then Abel, we came out of the toilet. Then after Abel say, no, nothing happened. He actually pocketed it. Nothing happened, I didn't take the money. You know, in a non-blockchain world, this is something that's happened, and then it's my word against his word. In the toilet, I give him $50 privately. There's no witness. It's just based on trust. Of course, we can give it to a third party called a bank, and the bank can, but let's say I deal with it directly. You know, if he denies, say, what can I do? If you deny, what can I do? I lose $50. But supposing I think of a new way, and this is what a blockchain is about. Before I go to the toilet with Abel and give him $50, first of all, I announce to this audience of 800 people, for his wonderful talk, I'm going to give him $50. And then I take up $50, I show all of you. I'm so proud of this. Okay? Then after that, say, Abel, let's go to the toilet. And then at the toilet, I even made him sign a receipt. And then I came back. I show all of you that receipt. Okay? So this is what blockchain is all about. In that self-contained system, all of you are witnesses. You see, because I broadcast that transaction to all of you before I even transact. And all of you approve it. And then when I transact, I come back, I have all the evidence. And all of you seen it and approve it. So he can't deny it anymore. We come out of the toilet, he cannot say, I didn't receive $50, I have the IOU, all of you have seen the 800 witnesses. So this is what blockchain is all about. In the cyber world, there exists many people, many entities that can do verification, okay, for that transaction to take place. So what happens is, if you want to send money, A want to send to B, you broadcast to all the parties in the network. And then the party will, verify that the transaction is valid. This is in layman term, but it's actually, technically, it's much more than that. It's cryptographically secure. All the transactions are secured by cryptography, meaning that, for example, in simple terms, if I do any message, there will be certain mechanism in the system that convert it into a cryptographic message. Just now I talked about the hash 64 characters of a Bitcoin, right? Actually, to get the 64 character, you can actually, type in a lot of things. The computer algorithm will immediately translate into what they call the hash, which is the cryptographical representation of the transaction or the information. Okay, so this is what blockchain is about. And the reason why cryptocurrency is so good is because it can tap on this mutually collective secure technology to verify and to perpetuate this. Okay, so Bitcoin, now is the most popular now. The supply is about 21, the total maximum supply is 21 million. Right now, 17 million is in circulation. There's a maximum limit. And it is something that I say already, decentralized. That means it exists person to person, peer to peer, totally anonymous. This is something very important. In the crypto world, when I do a transaction, nobody knows that it is Lawrence Low. It will just some computer identification. All the transactions are there. People know what is transacted, but nobody can link to your identity. And then there are other features as well. There's something very important, which is, in technical terms, it's called fungibility. What it means in simple terms is a Bitcoin here is a Bitcoin, same as a Bitcoin there. All Bitcoin are equivalent. There's no such thing as some rusty Bitcoin, some non-rusty Bitcoin. No such thing. It's totally interchangeable. And also, another term is something called scalable, because there's a lot of information. It's possible to truncate certain information. So there are actually many types of cryptocurrency beyond the popular type called Bitcoin. Yep. Oh, mining process, I come later to that. Can? There's a mining process. In fact, I have some slides, but because it's actually not part of investment. But I'll come to that, definitely. Can? Akang datang. If I don't have time to explain during the panel, okay. And you panel no time, after sales service. There are many types. In fact, just a few days ago, I counted 1,633 types. Okay? In fact, the problem is many of these is Bitcoin, and I have to mention one more technical word called a fork, F-O-R-K. Sometimes a cryptocurrency can evolve and change. And sometimes when the community agreed that a certain change is so good that it becomes backward incompatible, it becomes what you call a hard fork versus a soft fork. So a hard fork will give you a totally new cryptocurrency. Very interesting, which is why it's very funny. A Bitcoin suddenly become other things called Bitcoin Cash, because Bitcoin Cash have no maximum, the block size limit is higher. It can even become Litecoin because transactions are faster. It can even become Dash. A Bitcoin became Dash because it has a higher level of privacy. So that's one family. Some other family is based on, say, Ethereum. Ethereum is another cryptocurrency that is good because it can facilitate what, in the crypto world, we call it smart contracts, which is just how, a programming code can activate certain action upon certain happening, upon certain time. So you can see, all in all, there are so many types of cryptocurrency. For example, IOTA. IOTA is Internet of Things. For example, there's even something called the Tether. Tether is just the crypto equivalent of a US dollar. It's trading at about 99.9 US dollar now. You can have Monero. Monero is actually used by a lot of so-called people in the dark world because privacy level is higher. You even have Tron, which is linked to Alibaba. It's a cryptocurrency that can facilitate applications in distribution of online content. So, all the cryptocurrency here has a certain purpose. Ripple, for example, can facilitate financial payment very fast. And you can imagine there are almost 1,700 of them out there. Each of them claim to be able to do something that no one else can do and only I can do, and you should buy my coin. Seriously, 1,700 of them. But when I look at many of coins, my first question is, what is it that you need to do that you can do that I cannot do without a coin? Yeah, so, okay. So I will come to the heart of it all, which is the cryptocurrency world, how to buy, how to get, how to sell, and then how to store, how to pay. In fact, I think if I want to go through this, I will take a full day just to do this, seriously, to go through all the parts. But I will just highlight a few parts, and then I'll mention 2 sentences about mining. Yeah, mining is another way of getting. Of course, the fastest way is to buy. I bought many cryptocurrencies myself, using my money. Little bit, I don't say I use a lot, just because a professor cannot just lecture, he must actually practice, and so that when he teach students, hey, you done it before or not? Yes. So I actually done through everything here myself with a little bit of money just to prove. Let me tell you this, I done this all, I was also burnt. Seriously, despite the fact that I have a PhD in management information system in one of the best business schools in the world, I was burnt. Okay, how to buy? First, you go to the currency exchange. I've been there before. There are many exchanges available all over the world. Most of the exchanges are actually overseas, and I'll come to the regulation later. But there are many types. A simple trading platform. I actually tried one that's based in Vietnam. They have all the buyers and sellers, and you deal direct with them before. And some of the platforms are good. They do something called escrow service. Before you will pay to the person, the platform hold it first until it's delivered, then they release. It's a third party, they hold it for security until both parties are happy, then they release. So it can be done. Direct trading, I've done it before, it's also exchange. It's just an exchange of buyer and seller. I'll give an example later. And brokerage is just an entity that give you, direct prices. In fact, there are some shops, even in Singapore, giving you that, selling cryptos using predetermined prices by the broker themselves. Okay? Important note is, if you deal with many of these exchanges, the Singapore authorities basically have no jurisdiction over any exchange located overseas. So the thing is, if you are hit and you are burned by some of these exchanges, SIAS will not organize a town hall for you. There's no town hall. You are on your own. So it's totally away from the ambit of all our existing regulators. In fact, one example is, let's say I just use the biggest one as an illustration. This one is based in Hong Kong. It's the world largest now. Binance. This is the crypto, the exchange page. It's just like any other stock exchange. They have a list of the bid price, the ask price, the volume. Okay. And then some of the technical indicators, they even have things like candlestick chart, the box chart. They have all the moving averages. On the bottom, they even give you moving average, convergence, divergence. All these are momentum indicators. So this is just for illustration because it's the biggest. Not that I'm recommending this. Okay, the next thing you need to know is called a wallet. I think this is something more important. If you buy your cryptocurrency, where do you keep it? Where do you keep it? You don't know. In your wallet. Yeah? Wallet. A wallet like that. My wallet is so thick. But inside I have a lot of Panadols. Because crypto give me a lot of headache. Okay, wallet is something you need to have. I have many types just for illustration. For example, most popular are those online. Some of the exchanges also come with wallet facilities. Some you have dedicated wallet, and then you also have hardware wallet. You have desktop wallet, you have mobile wallet as well on your mobile phone. You can even actually print out everything, put it on a piece of paper, literally print out and don't store anywhere. Just store the code on a piece of paper. You can actually put it under your pillow. And under your pillow, that's your wallet. All you need is that string of numbers. String of something called the keys. Two types of keys, public key and private key. Public key is something that if people want to pay you, they just pay you on the public key. That's okay. You can tell everybody your public key. I can even tell you my public key. You can donate money, no problem. But the more important thing is a private key, and this is where all the problem is. A private key is something that is only specific to you. Not only you can receive money, you can actually pay money out of it. Private key, when stolen, and many were stolen before, really, once it's gone, all your money is gone. Yeah? Private key. Yeah? Or maybe you can ask at the panel, because yeah? Is it okay? I like the fact, you have questions, but, okay. Maybe I should move on. This is one example of a wallet. I store all my Ethereum-based coins on this wallet. Because the Ethereum-based coin has a certain standard. Some of you may know it's called the ERC20 standard, so I store some of them. This is just one example of a dedicated online wallet. Again, you have public key and the private key. Of course, I blank it out, don't show you. Yeah? And then you can print a paper wallet and, and keep it in your drawer. I actually print some and keep in my drawer as well. Yeah? Okay. Okay, the other thing is ICOs. The other thing is, when you talk investment, some of you probably heard of ICOs. ICOs means initial coin offering. It is something that certain entities want to offer so that they can perform certain things. It could be a unit of exchange, or it could be something that they want to do. Say, for example, if you are a photographic company, you want people to be able to store photography on the blockchain, then you need certain coins, certain tokens, so that people can invest in you. But more importantly, ICO exists because people need to verify the transaction. And to verify the transaction, this is what we call, it exists in somewhere else called the mining, okay, mining. The miners are the ones who verify the transaction, and the miners need to be rewarded. That is why you have the ICOs. The token is used to reward the miners for the task of verification. Okay, that's all it is. In fact, actually, there are many business models that no need to tokenize. I don't know why they do it. So they create a blockchain because for the sake of doing it. I actually seen some ICOs that actually, they can actually do it the same way. I mean, if you want to sell nasi lemak, you no need to get a blockchain. Just sell at a coffee shop. So but I mean, okay. So this is something, I also bought some ICOs before. I got burned in several of them. In fact, last year, half of ICOs have totally disappeared. This year, there are 2 mega ICOs that went around. The EOS ICO, $4.1 billion. The other one is called the Telegram. The Telegram was quite a disaster. After the private offering, they didn't even go to the public offering. Telegram is a social media, This was an ICO that I bought just, because it has a Singapore address. I thought it should be safe. But actually, it came out safe, In January the 8th, I tried to buy it, couldn't get it. It got sold out in 144 seconds after midnight. I missed it. I went in the next day. So on the second round, at 11:30 p.m., I came at my PC. At 12:02 p.m., after midnight, I clicked the button. 02 seconds, it got sold out in 44 seconds. I got it on the second. But then, you see the price now has dropped a lot. If I have held it, I would have lost a lot of money. But luckily, I sold it even before it went on the public exchange. Yeah, okay. Okay, so this is just for illustration. So there are actually a lot of problems and sensation. In fact, the caveat is this. In the Bitcoin world, there are 1,000 of them that own 35% of all the Bitcoins. There are 17 million Bitcoins now in circulation. 1,000 of them own 1/3 of them. You can calculate how much. I think each of them own about 40 million, worth of Bitcoins. Yeah? So the key thing is, this is what they call the whale. They can corner the market anytime. And this is related to the next thing. In the Bitcoin world, there's a lot of things called pump and dump. If you track the Bitcoin chart, suddenly it will go out vertically, then it will hover a while, then it go down vertically. The whole Bitcoin world it beats all kind of technical analysis, fundamental, all kind of analysis all broke down because of this pump and dump. Yeah? Of course, as a professor, I always try to catch the pump and avoid the dump. I never succeed. Never succeed. Yeah, okay. And of course, there are many other things like fear of, FOMO. FOMO, in Singapore, we call it kiasu. Fear of missing out. And of course, I have little bit of Bitcoins, a little bit of other cryptocurrency. Because I lost money, I kept it there, hold on for dear life. I hope that it will go out. I haven't cashed out. Anything that I cash out, I make money. Haven't not cash out is always down there. It's not a good strategy. I think, and of course, there are many other things as well. In many ICOs, there's something they want to moon, so they create something called shilling. A lot of things that go on in Reddit, in Telegram, in Medium, to hype the cryptocurrency. A lot of hype is happening. So long and short of it, the most important part before I end, I know time is short, the risk and regulation. There are two types of risk. I mentioned price is extremely volatile. It's totally opaque, despite the fact that actually it's totally verifiable. The irony is it's totally opaque. It's opaquely transparent. And of course, there are many risks at the project or the platform level. And of course, many of them are, deal with criminal. In fact, many of them have linked to the dark net, the dark world as well. Some of you may have heard about some of the earlier issues in the dark net where many illegal products were offered. Okay, and of course, in Singapore, I think most of you will be quite interested. Is it legal? If I buy a Bitcoin today, do I go to jail tomorrow? No, right? You won't, but I have to tell the caveats. Cryptocurrency per se, in itself, they are not directly regulated by our authorities. But any intermediaries, for example, an exchange or a platform that deals with this, they are, of course, subject to the very important AML and CFT. AML means anti-money laundering because it's in cyberspace. You can move money anonymously, so a lot of criminals might use it to move massive money efficiently, secretly, illegally. And of course, that includes terrorism. So intermediaries are subject to CFT. So if you buy a cryptocurrency, you might actually be funding all these undesirable activities. Yeah? Okay? And then in Singapore itself, if your cryptocurrencies are almost like securities or futures, because cryptocurrency in itself, they can actually be packaged in such a way that they become derivatives, or in itself it can be an asset. So if any of these fall within this, the standard existing regulation apply. Okay, if you want more details, I can talk about it at the panel. So the bottom line is that always check our regulator website, MAS. Yeah, MAS, they have all the advisories. One example is 10 August last year advisory joined with the Commercial Affairs Department about some of these issues. MAS also have a financial FI directory alert list. So always check the website for some of the current happening. And of course, even up to today, before I just end in 1 minute's time, nobody knows exactly what cryptocurrency is. Actually, maybe more than the currency. In fact, if you say you can mine it, because mining means verification, if you can mine it, it can be commodity, right? Yeah. Or is it a security? That means a share. How is value determined? To talk about this, I need 1 hour. But basically, let me tell you in one sentence, there is no valuation model, no pricing model for cryptocurrency. Everything breaks down. It is a function of just supply and demand at this point in time. But of course, you can you can argue that there's a certain utility that can use, which is my next point. Cryptocurrency is actually a type of virtual currency, except that it's cryptographically secure. And these are all part of what you call a digital token. But a lot of terms are now interchangeably used. There are 3 types of token now. One for payment, one for utility, means to run certain thing in the business, and the other one is an asset. The Switzerland has defined, the authority has defined token, payment, utility, asset. So there are actually many types now. So last but not least, cryptocurrency cannot be compared with stocks, bonds, and commodities, basically because of all the risks, and more importantly, many parts are irreversible. There's possibility of risk of insider trading by the whales. You don't have an underlying business model that can be totally verifiable. When you buy an ICOs, you are just relying on the white paper. Anybody can write a white paper. I can write 10 white papers a day. Anybody can write it. I know of many consultants who make a living out of writing white papers for all the new crypto. All they do usually, when they put the theme, they will say, they put a few phases. And one consultant the other day just told me, the client say, put some faces in the theme, preferably Caucasian faces. It will make it look good. So I think there's a lot of things you need to be aware of. Everything is not backed by asset. Market can be very thin. In certain ICOs that I buy, I go to market, no seller, no buyer, very thin, so the price are not good, not efficient. Okay, so just 2 more slides. Before you do any transaction in cryptocurrency, I'll answer all the questions. Just remember, you need the knowledge. Don't just join the bandwagon. Knowledge, know about your intention. Is it really a form of investment? Up to now, it's still not very, very clear. It may be just speculation, but of course, the cryptocurrency people, they don't use speculation, they call it trading. But it's actually speculation. Many people even say it's gambling. I met one business leader a few months ago when I talked about cryptocurrency. He freaked out and said, it's just gambling. The whole crypto world is a casino. It's the world's biggest casino. That's what my business leader told me. A very famous business leader. I can't mention the name. It's a closed door meeting. But okay. And then your viewpoint, enter with eyes open. You can see intentionally I have 3 alphabets. KIV. Always KIV your crypto. But if you don't have enough acronym, I have one more. If you are not careful, you look at the word crypto. This word. Equals to cry plus PTO. So if you are not careful, you cry first, and please turn over a new leaf. Thank you very much.